World War III is very close by. It could be caused by ongoing Middle East wars. It is the history of the modern Middle East wars. Israel, Iran, Iraq, the United States, and beyond. And the story isn't over. But before we go deeper, kindly subscribe to this channel for more of such histories. Also like, share, and comment on the video. The story of the Middle East is one of conflict, religion, resources, and geopolitics. It's a region where ancient rivalries meet modern superpowers, and where the lines between local rebellion, religious extremism, and global politics blur into a storm of never-ending wars. In 1948, the world saw the birth of the State of Israel, carved out of British-controlled Palestine after World War II and the Holocaust. The Arab world rejected this new state, and within hours, Israel was at war with its neighbors: Egypt, Jordan, Syria, Iraq, and Lebanon. Israel survived, but the war displaced hundreds of thousands of Palestinians, planting the seeds of decades-long tension. In 1956, Israel joined Britain and France in attacking Egypt during the Suez Crisis after Egypt nationalized the Suez Canal. Though militarily successful, the U.S. and Soviet Union forced them to withdraw. The Cold War had arrived in the Middle East. Then, in 1967, came the Six-Day War. Israel launched a preemptive strike against Egypt, Syria, and Jordan. In just 6 days, Israel seized the West Bank, Gaza Strip, East Jerusalem, the Golan Heights, and Sinai Peninsula. The Arab world was humiliated, and the Palestinian cause took center stage. In 1973, Egypt and Syria launched a surprise attack on Israel during the Jewish holiday of Yom Kippur. Initially successful, Israel pushed them back. The war drew in the U.S. and USSR once again, almost triggering a superpower clash. After that war, Egypt made peace with Israel in 1979, the first Arab country to do so. That same year, Iran underwent a seismic shift. The U.S.-backed Shah of Iran was overthrown in a popular revolution. Ayatollah Khomeini rose to power, establishing an Islamic theocracy. Overnight, Iran went from being a U.S. ally to a staunch anti-Western, anti-Israel power. That year, Iranian students stormed the U.S. Embassy in Tehran and held 52 Americans hostage for 444 days. This event destroyed U.S.-Iran relations for generations. Then came the Iran-Iraq War. From 1980 to 1988, Saddam Hussein's Iraq invaded Iran, hoping to crush the new revolutionary regime. The war was brutal. Millions died. Iraq used chemical weapons. Iran sent waves of child soldiers. The U.S. and Gulf states quietly backed Iraq, afraid of Iran's growing influence. Yet after 8 years, the war ended in a stalemate. In 1990, Iraq invaded Kuwait. Saddam accused Kuwait of stealing oil and driving down prices. The U.S. led a global coalition to expel Iraq in the 1991 Gulf War. It was swift. Iraq was defeated, but Saddam remained in power. Sanctions were imposed. The no-fly zones were enforced. Iraq began to suffer. Then came 9/11. The U.S., in response to the terrorist attacks, invaded Afghanistan in 2001 and then Iraq in 2003. President George W. Bush claimed Saddam had weapons of mass destruction. None were found. Saddam was captured and later executed. But Iraq descended into chaos. Sunni and Shia militias fought. Iran's influence in Iraq exploded. The U.S. stayed for nearly a decade, trying to stabilize the country. Out of the chaos came a new monster, ISIS. Born from al-Qaeda in Iraq, it exploded in 2014, capturing major cities like Mosul and Raqqa. It declared a caliphate and ruled with unimaginable brutality. Beheadings, slavery, terror. The world reacted. The U.S. launched airstrikes. Iran-backed militias joined the fight. Russia bombed ISIS in Syria. By 2017, ISIS lost most of its territory, but the ideology lived on. Meanwhile, Syria had collapsed into civil war. Bashar al-Assad's brutal crackdown on protesters in 2011 led to a multi-sided war. Rebels fought Assad. Kurds fought ISIS. Iran and Hezbollah supported Assad. The U.S. supported rebels. Russia stepped in to back Assad decisively in 2015. The war killed hundreds of thousands and displaced millions. In Yemen, another war broke out. The Iran-backed Houthis overthrew the Saudi-backed government. In response, Saudi Arabia launched a bombing campaign in 2015. The war created one of the worst humanitarian crises in modern history. It's widely seen as a proxy war between Iran and Saudi Arabia. Sunni versus Shia, monarchy versus theocracy. Israel, meanwhile, kept fighting Hamas in Gaza and Hezbollah in Lebanon. Iran funded and armed both. In 2020, a surprise shift occurred. The Abraham Accord saw the UAE, Bahrain, Morocco, and Sudan normalize ties with Israel. The threat of Iran united former enemies. Then came the explosion of tensions again in 2021 and 2022, when clashes in Jerusalem led to war in Gaza. Hamas fired rockets. Israel retaliated. Hundreds died. The cycle repeated. Ceasefires came and went. And then came the most dramatic moment of all, October 7th, 2023. On that day, Hamas launched a surprise attack on Israel. Over 1,200 Israelis were killed. It was the deadliest day in Israel's history. In response, Israel declared war. It bombarded Gaza relentlessly. Thousands of Palestinians, including civilians, were killed. A ground invasion followed. Hospitals were destroyed. Entire neighborhoods leveled. Israel's goal: eliminate Hamas. But the war didn't stay in Gaza. Hezbollah and Lebanon fired rockets at Israel. The Houthis in Yemen began attacking ships in the Red Sea. Iranian-backed militias attacked U.S. bases in Iraq and Syria. The U.S. deployed aircraft carriers and bombed militia sites. It was a full-blown regional crisis. Then in April 2024, Iran launched over 300 drones